Hey, Becky, 2 belts. You know she only got 1 now, but that's alright, girl. J-Dub, 2 belts. Episode 42 is about to be just too sweet. Bang your head to the opening riff. What is happening, y'all? It's your boy J-Dub here, and welcome to episode 42. Cuatro dos, I think that's how you say that in Espanol, man. Something like that. Of The Real Rush, right here on YouTube. And as you can see from just that little snippet of the intro, there's some crazy ass shit has been going down over the last couple days. That's why I filmed episode 41 last Friday, because I had kind of a feeling of what was going to go down last Saturday. So story time. Remember during episode 41 when I mentioned that during episode 42 during this show, that one of the reviews that I was going to have for you this episode was for Marianne and Leonard, Words of Love, and that how I was supposed to see that the very next day, that Saturday. And now that was kind of iffy, right? Well, your boy went out to another CSA, Sports Memorabilia Show, out at the Dulles Expo last Saturday morning. There was all types of people there, man. You had like Floyd Mayweather, you had like Mean Joe Green, you had Franco Harris, you had Greedy Williams was up in the spot, Joey Bosa was up there on Sunday, Plaxico Burress, Sonny Jurgensen, a whole bunch of motherfuckers were out there. But anywho, I think Adrian Peterson might have been up there. If he wasn't at that one, he was at the last one. But yeah, a whole bunch of people. So yeah, so I went up there. That's the same way that your boy met like the likes of George Foreman and Sting and what's his nuts, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, and Lindsey Wagner last year. But yo, dope. So last week, too sweet. Not only did your boy meet Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, Diesel and Razor Ramon. Put that fucking picture back up on the Rush Trine. Yeah. It was too fucking sweet. Those dudes are cool as shit. I was underestimating how goddamn big they were, as I usually do when I meet these motherfuckers. But damn, holy shit, met the innovators, the godfathers of all that we know that is stable. We wouldn't even have, flip back to the Real Rush logo real quick, boom, that's based off Bullet Club, baby. We wouldn't have that shit if it wasn't for flip back to Too Sweet on the Rush Trine, bam. If it wasn't for those motherfuckers right there, man. They trailblazers in their own rights, fucking legends, and it was fucking awesome. But not only did your boy meet Big Sexy Kevin Nash and Kevin Hall, but your boy also got the opportunity to meet and greet. So I got to chat with Andrew Bryniarski, aka Latimer, from my all-time favorite football movie, The Program. The steroid junkie, Steve Latimer, number 99, ESU, starting defense, placed at the table. Holy shit. Yeah, so when I found out that he was going to be there, I was on it. I was on it. So went back to the forward area, meet this dude, and he's just chatting it up. He's cool as shit, yo. Like, he also played Leatherface in the remake or the reboot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was Kelly in Any Given Sunday. He was Nako in Higher Learning. He was Zangief in Street Fighter. Like, I mean, all types of crazy shit. Alright, so I met Latimer. The man. Ding motherfucking dong. Let's take a little bit of a look of, because we got a little bit of video footage. Let's take a look. I still got that too. So, that's me, chatting it up, me and Andrew, chatting it up about how the movie's so old that people probably still have shit on VHS, and I still have, boop, the VHS copy sitting up on the shelf right there in between Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Casino, double wide Casino, like this episode might be, and underneath The Fugitive and cornered by True Lies and shit. I'm not sure how much of the picture you're going to be able to see of that when I go to take it, because I haven't taken the picture yet. But Mr. Bryniarski, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, because the dude on the PA system up at the expo was fucking his name all up. So, when I got to take this shot right here with Drew, with Latimer, that is the reason I'm geeking out so much right there, is because as we were taking the picture, I said starting defense, and as he's holding, that DVD copy is not the one that I already own. I bought that copy of the program at the show just to fucking have a new copy to take a picture with the man that paid Latimer in the program. As I said, starting defense, he's holding the fucking DVD that says the program. And he says, and I quote, without any hesitation, place at the fucking table. That's why I'm geeking out right now. Fast forward to a couple moments later, as you saw in the video, he was about to sign that joint. So yes, not only did we get to take a picture with the man, Andrew Bryniarski, that played Latimer in the iconic The Program, with a picture of the DVD, but he signed the DVD. I think he signed J-Dub. I have to take a look at the picture. I forget, because I blacked out at that shit. But he did sign it. Andrew Bryniarski, Latimer, number 99, ESU. He signed the front of the shit and the DVD itself. And the way he was just turning that shit open, man, like he was just going for it. Like, fuck it. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna argue with it. I paid $10 for the DVD. I'm never gonna, actually put that DVD in a player or anything. That is going to go on a shelf somewhere here in the vault, along with my many, many other knickknacks and movie and sports memorabilia. So, yeah. So that was just last Saturday. 2 nights ago was our third Friday Bandit show. It went fucking epic, y'all. Great reception from the sold out audience that was in attendance up at Stagecoach Theater Company on Friday night. So thanks for everybody who came out, who was in attendance, who came out, laughed their asses off. And I'm proud of my bandits as well. So yeah, we just gonna keep on rocking, and I'm gonna have info on our third Friday August show coming up for you at the very end of this episode right here. Before I move on with that, we are sponsored here in part by Deer Park Water, because your boy J-Dub needs some. Flip Nash and Hall back on real quick. I got to look both these men in the eye and tell them that I am proud of them. Especially Hall, knowing all that he has battled in the past, and all that all of I had battled in the past, and how we've gone, down similar roads. There was that spiritual. Proud of y'all. So yeah. Alright. Let's get on down to the brass tacks of this episode's Real Rush Ticket. Because just as jam-packed as the last couple days have been, with, the NWO and the Too Sweet and the fucking place at the fucking table and the ding fucking dong and the Bandits awesome show Friday night, just complete epicness. There were some movies in there. And that is what this show is all about. That's at least what I try to stick to here. But anywho, so let's get on down to brass tacks here on this episode's Real Rush Ticket. And I got 5 new movies reviewed for y'all this week. I said last week that there was going to be 4 this week. Well, there's 5 for y'all that I got for y'all. There was a little bit of an unannounced entry that bloomed up out of motherfucking nowhere like an RKO from Randy K. Orton. I believe his middle initial is K, or else why would that be so perfect? We'll Wikipedia that shit. I'm not, a complete scientist when it comes to wrestling shit, but my bet would be that his name is like Randall Kenneth Orton or some shit like that, or Randall Kendall Orton or some shit like that, or Randall Kenny Orton or some shit like that. Anyhow, enough of the fucking deliberations. This episode's Real Rush Ticket. We got 5 movies for y'all this week. We got 1 blockbuster, and then 4. One of them we saw last weekend, so we've been prepping for this weekend, for this episode for over a week. It's Sunday right now as we film this shit. Sunday, July 21st, 2K19. We got 1 blockbuster, 4 independent movies. We're going to kick things off with the blockbuster that everybody's talking about. And this is the, I don't know if I can call it live action, but it is most certainly the Disney remake of the Disney classic, The Lion King. So, CGI photo manipulative. I don't quite know how to explain it, because all the exterior, like the jungle shots and shit, had to be real, right? And then the animals and stuff, I believe that they're real to a certain extent. Maybe like the wide out shots or something. I don't know. We deliberating about this too damn much right off the bat. But I mean, how much of The Lion King do I really need to go into? Who hasn't seen the classic Lion King? I've seen the classic Lion King. That was back in '94 when it dropped, and you got it in the big ass white Disney fucking VHS box. The problem with that is that was the one and only time I've ever seen The Lion King. That was 25 years ago, and unfortunately, Disney movies, that was when I was 12, and that's when I was starting to phase out of stuff like that. So I remember it being a really good movie, but the retaining of any knowledge of it, it's pretty shifty. I don't know. But that allowed me to go into the remake here, reboot, whatever you want to call it, with a little bit of a fresh perspective. So, if you haven't seen The Lion King, this follows a young lion, Simba. He is son to Mufasa, who is king of the jungle, king of all that the light shines upon. And one day, Simba will inherit all that the light can shine upon. Deep in the dark part of the fucking jungle, just hanging out. Mufasa's no good for nothing little nigglet brother Scar. He feels like he should be the true king, the true heir to the throne, held by Mufasa. So when shit goes down, and Mufasa, was it or not by the hands of Scar? I don't know. But Simba should be now king, yes? But no, he's told to flee and never come back to his land. So he flees, and while he's off being his own cub, becoming a man lion, along with his newfound friends Timon and Pumbaa, they gotta stay one step ahead of like the dirty ass hyenas and shit. And then they must find their way at some point, right, back to their homeland for Simba to take what is rightfully his, the throne of king. The forgotten. How was The Lion King? How was the remake? How was the reboot? Overall, I thought it was pretty good. From the beginning, the way that it was starting off, I want to go off by saying that this is not a shot-for-shot remake, but it does start off in kind of felt that way, where just the first 10 to 15 minutes, it just felt to me like this is starting off already as an unnecessary remake. But when the action finally pops the fuck off, that's when I finally got invested in that. I know I probably shouldn't say drop the F-bomb in a review about a family movie, but I mean, A, who's watching this shit? And B, whoever is watching this shit are people that I know, so you know me, and I know you. Let's be a happy family. Drop the F-bomb, talk about fucking Lion King. So anywho, what was I talking about? So 20 minutes into the movie is about when the action really pops off, and bam, from there you're just invested into it. I had to write down a couple notes for this one. The expressions of the animal characters, they seem kind of flat, but at the same time, how can we really perfect that? Now the animal characters themselves, whatever blend of live action to CGI that they did use or whatever, that Jon Favreau did use, when they're standing still and just looking like themselves, look picture perfect. Some of the facial expressions are picture perfect. Some of them just seem a little flat, and I think it's because you don't really know how to make. It's just the same thing as what happened with Beauty and the Beast a couple years ago with that live action remake. It's like when the dresser and shit came to life. They were both everybody was talking and everything, but that's just an aspect that I've seen that is very difficult. Not necessarily very difficult, but kind of hard to capture in live action versus animation. So, comparatively speaking, it seemed a little bit flatter than the original. But since it is live action and that you're going for the animals talking there. I'm ranting too long about this, I know, but it is what it is. Could it have been better off if it was just the animals just being silent and you were just hearing their thoughts, but that would be them speaking to each other? I don't think so. Initially I thought maybe that would be the case, but no. It's definitely good to have some movement on there. So definitely some improvement where improvement is needed. But that's not without its good shit. One thing that is being very criticized about is the fact that it doesn't add anything new to the franchise. And that's the same thing that they said about something that we reviewed a couple months ago. And I said that, Aladdin. This is also, same as Aladdin, half an hour longer than the original animated feature. This is not a shot-for-shot remake. So there has to be some new shit in there, or else it's just the old stuff just dragging on too much, and I don't think that's what happened there. This one does have a little bit more of a twist to it that differs it from the original. One is the hyenas themselves. Instead of being, the laughable creatures that we remember from the original, they still got, you got Eric Andre, Keegan-Michael Key, what's up, bro? And Florence Kasumba as the hyenas, and they're a little bit more devious than this one. So that's one. And two, I don't want to reveal it because that would actually give away part of the plot itself. But you have an amazing cast in this one, and there's absolutely additions in here. It's not a flat-out remake. The voice cast, you got Donald Glover as Simba, you got Beyonce as Nala, you got John Oliver, you got John Connie, you got Chiwetel Ejiofor. I know I just fucked your name up. You got James Earl Jones reprising his role as Mufasa, fucking all the songs and shit are sung by the people, by the cast themselves. You got Seth Rogen, and he is the Steen Sealer of the movie. Now, whether or not there was any like motion capture to between the animals and the actors who were playing them themselves, I'm not sure, but there definitely seemed to be. If there were any characters that got the facial expressions the closest, and the character was just nailed the best, it was Pumbaa. Both between the voice of Seth Rogen and the facial expressions. So boom, there's your selling point of the movie right there. And if you didn't like Pumbaa from the original, then you like Timon. So there's your top two favorite characters from the first movie, as most people that I've ever talked to about The Lion King. So those are your two selling points from the first movie. Those are two selling points from this movie as well. Anything else that I'm missing here about this? What the fuck is that? There you go. I already said that part. So, The Lion King. I saw it in IMAX. You should do the same. Who's The Lion King going to be for? Obviously, it is for your Disney enthusiasts. It's for the whole family. If you haven't seen The Lion King before, or if you've seen The Lion King and you grew up with it like I did, and now you have kids, like everybody's saying I should at my age, but I don't, or else how would I be able to see 200 movies a year? But yeah, I mean, if they have not seen the original, you can introduce them this way. It does get a little brutal at some points. The emotional depth is still there, and the hilarity of the even though the screenplay is deviated somewhat from the original, that's still there. Yeah, so overall, good. Go see it in the highest quality possible. Go see it with your fam. Who is it for? It is for your Disney enthusiasts. And if you are a fan of the original, check this one out. Or if you haven't seen the original, or if you're like me and don't remember the fucking original from however long ago you saw it, get a fresh take, and it doesn't disappoint. So Lion King. There's the Real Rush review on it. If you have any questions or anything that you feel that I may have missed there, because I feel like I might have missed something with such a big blockbuster movie there, please feel free to type those into the page that you are viewing this video on right here, or DM me, or however you figure. So, Lion King, playing everywhere. Go check it out now, y'all. Next up on this episode's Real Rush tickets. Don't say I can't have no water now. Alright, it's middle of July. In the vault here, the AC does not circulate quite well, so it tends to get rather, and I got all these lights on me and shit. I'm melting right before your very eyes. Bring you this episode. Yeah. Anyway, next up on this episode's Real Rush tickets, we gonna go with see, we kicking off the indie part of this episode. So let's kick things off with let's go with the new, not family comedy drama, but comedy drama, so dramedy about family, The Farewell, from director Lulu Wang. Now this follows a character named Billy, played by Awkwafina from Ocean's 8 and Crazy Rich Asians, who discovers that her grandmother is dying of cancer. Now, it's Chinese tradition that the family not tell their loved one if they are succumbing to such a thing, so that way they're not going into death with the fear. So that way, in their eyes, it's more of a peaceful transition. So that way they don't necessarily know that they're dying. But the way that Billy feels about it is that she should know, because like what, she wants to say goodbye. So it's very you know, on the fence. Like, does she tell her? Does she not want to tell her? Thing. So as they travel over to China to be with her for one last time, the whole family, under the guise of one of their cousins being married, but in reality it's all to be with their grandmother for one last time. So that's as best as I can describe the plot without giving too terribly much away there. But this, The Farewell, wow. packed house at the Angelica when I saw it there last night. It'll make you laugh. It will make you cry at some points. I actually didn't shed a tear, but I felt it coming. So I could feel like if it was coming for me, it definitely came for other people. There are parts that you feel like you shouldn't laugh at, but knowing if it feels very relatable, relating it to your own family experiences. This movie does. So if you can laugh at stuff from your own family experiences, I think you'll feel what I mean when you go see this. But it's so good. It make you laugh, make you cry. The screenplay is fantastic. Awkwafina does a fantastic job bringing some drama element to the table, so we know that is in her repertoire official for sure. So that's a selling point for The Farewell. Yeah, and just the overall emotion and just the feeling of family that this movie conveys is all so good. The screenplay I want to throw out there just for honorable mention. Like I said, we're just a couple months away from the official beginning of awards season. This is something that I feel, this is a screenplay that at least I feel should stay on the radar for that. But overall, The Farewell just may be, and I meant to put together one of these for our halftime of the year show because we're at the halftime of the year for the season. A top 10 list or top 11 list of what the top 11 movies of this half of the year would be. This would be a close contender, if not making the top 11 for the first half of 2K19. So right off the bat, overall, The Farewell, 1 is our rush pick for movie of the week. 2 is an absolute must-see. I'm not sure how wide the release on this is, but wherever you can find it, I know that the Angelica has it. Check it out. Definitely go see this where you can. So that's all I'm about to say about it. Shit. It's playing. It's playing at the Angelica. It's limited. Yeah, just go see it. It's so good. It's so good. As much as I don't like to compare movies, how does it compare to Crazy Rich Asians? I mean, if that got accoladed for a lot, which it deserved every accolade that it got last year, I do feel. But this more independent, keep this one on the radar, y'all, because if that got as many accolades as it did this year, this one just feels a little bit more down to earth, a little bit more to the heart, a little bit more genuine. Not than Crazy Rich Asians. Not say that, not take anything away from Crazy Rich Asians, but yeah, The Farewell. Definitely check it out wherever you can find it. That is our rush pick of the week. It is one of the best movies of the year, hands down, thus far. The Farewell. Go see it and just be prepared for a fantastic emotional ride. Boom. Farewell. Go check it out. I like memorizing the confirmation codes for my ticket so that way it looks like I'm punching in a cheat code when I get my ticket at the theater and shit. Look at all the happy fucking people. And next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, we have a new dark comedy in our hands, in our midst, called The Art of Self-Defense, starring Jesse Eisenberg, Alessandro Nivola, and Imogen Poots. Now this follows Jesse Eisenberg plays a dude named Casey. Very mild-mannered, very meek, very just kind of odd man, accountant, at this place that he works at. I don't know exactly what the business is, but he just gets shit on all the time, in life. And after he gets brutally mugged one night, and, just fucked up, he decides to learn how to defend himself. So he starts taking classes from this just mysterious but charismatic sensei, who's named Sensei, played by Alessandro Nivola. But there's something deeper, a little bit darker, in the underbelly of this newfound class that Casey has taken himself such investment into, and it starts to bring out a side of him that he didn't know that he didn't have, that he have. This movie, like I said, is a dark comedy. It's a brutal dark comedy too, y'all. And it tackles, a lot of issues such as, like masculinity and even like hyper masculinity and just overall attraction to violence itself and chauvinist ways and etc. so on and so forth. And it does tackle these topics in quite the effective and in sometimes darkly hilarious way. Alessandro Nivola as the sensei, just the way that he delivers some of his lines in this are just fucking gold, like deadpan humor at its finest. Yeah, that's about as much about that movie as I want to give away without giving too much away, because there's so much more to it than if I didn't even see the trailer going into this movie. I went into it trailer blind. I only knew what I knew about it by reading it on the Angelica website, and that enough sounded like the premise was batshit. So we just went right into the art of self-defense last night, and yeah, it's an acquired taste movie. It's not something for everybody, and that's not just my experience talking from the 10 or so people that were in the audience at the 11 o'clock show at the Angelica last night. It was divided right down the middle. You either were laughing your ass off at it, or I could feel the people that were sitting right in front of me kind of had that, I don't really get this kind of vibe going on. So it's going to be one of those kind of movies. It's got, like I said, it's got that just black humor, if you can handle that kind of shit, and it is darkly violent at times, but I feel it is a good watch. Yeah, overall, where would I place this on the overall scale? Like I said, not everybody's gonna quote unquote get it. Who is this movie for then? If you have a really fucked up sense of humor, bam, The Art of Self-Defense. This movie is right up your alley. Fucked up sense of humor and shock and awe. Art of Self-Defense, right up our alley, because I got a fucked up sense of humor. Shock and awe, all up my alley. I'm all in for that shit. So boom. Art of Self-Defense. This is also a limited release. This is also currently playing at the Angelica. I think Cinema Arts is getting this and The Farewell at some point. I'm not sure where else in the DC metropolitan area this might be playing. But you want to fucking check this out. And I would make this the same way that I did the my trifecta yesterday. If you happen to do more than one movie, or if you just want to do one movie, I would make this. This is like that. This is an 11 o'clock showing. It's like a perfect end of night. Like, what the fuck did I just watch? Type of movie, like on some dark Adult Swim type shit. So Art of Self-Defense, good late night watching at the theater. Go check it out. Find it. Next up on this episode's Real Rush Ticket, here's this week's unannounced entry into our Real Rush episode flow of this week. And it's a movie called Hampstead. starring Diane Keaton and Brendan Gleeson. And this movie, it was released in 2017, and the ending credits, it said copyright 2016. So this is a 3-year-old movie that is just now get released to one theater, I suppose, in the area. We saw this at Cinema Arts to kick off our Saturday yesterday. What is Hampstead about? This is somewhat based on a true story, and it follows this woman, widower, played by Emily. Her name is Emily, played by Diane Keaton. That's why it threw me off, because I'm in love with Diane Keaton, y'all. I ain't even going front. If y'all haven't been able to tell that by now, you have been living under a fucking rock. But what's happening, Miss Keaton? So, Emily, she lives in Britain. She lives in England. She's a widower. She's an American widower in England. Lives a life of, tackling social issues, things of that sort. And she discovers a man played by Brendan Gleeson, who's been living on the land of this decrepit old hospital that hasn't been used in years. It's just been sitting on the lands of Hampstead Heath, and he built residence on the land there. Like, he's built like a hut out of scrap, but he lives off the land. Like, he grows his own vegetables, he makes his own electricity, he just boom, like that. And townsfolk aren't too keen on that, but Diane Keaton is more sympathetic to his situation, and maybe a little bit more romanticized to his situation as well. So she seeks to help him out. But can she work past his I don't need your help type of attitude, even though he is a very gentle man at heart, to help him keep his residence against the wishes of the townsfolk and even the law folk. Hampstead. How did it take 2 to 3 years for this movie to even come on radar of any kind? How? This movie was awesome. This was a fantastic movie. This almost might tie for a Real Rush pick of the week if the farewell wasn't just that much more. This will make you laugh. This might make you cry as well. It's just such a good movie, a good romantic movie. Like I said, this is somewhat based off of a true story. This is based off the story of a man named Harry Hollows, who actually did build up residence on Hampstead Heath in England, and the townsfolk and the town took him to court over that. I didn't know that was based off a true story, or that was a true story either. And if you don't either, I suggest you keep it that way to go see this movie, so that way you can get a good fresh take on it. Because as far as now that I've seen the movie, and now that I have been able to Wikipedia what Homeboy was all about, the movie does hold pretty. It takes elements from his life and shit. It's not an all-out biopic, but the elements that it does take, they hold pretty true to what I read on the wiki. We know how true that can be, right? It's not pieced together from sugar packets and shit. So yeah, great story, and of course the chemistry. Well, of course Diane Keaton. Then you got Brendan Gleeson, and then the chemistry between them two just hitting it off. The crowd absolutely loved it. I said to myself, who the hell is going to Cinema Arts on a 100-degree Saturday in Northern Virginia to go see Hampstead? Well, as I just stated a couple moments ago, apparently that just may be the only place that's playing it. Or it may be just that many people were looking to seek that much shelter from the heat, because that joint was fucking packed, yo. I almost had to sit almost neck cranking level in the front. And the whole audience enjoyed the hell out of Hampstead. Who's this movie for? It seemed that, well, the cinema arts crowd seems to be more of an older crowd to begin with, so I don't want to necessarily just tie it to this. Honestly, I think that this would be a perfect date movie. If you could find this in your area, go check out Hampstead. It's not just bound to any age or anything. This is something that all ages should be able to get or relate to. Hampstead, just a beautiful, romantic comedy drama. Go check it out where you can find it. Like I said, if you're in the DC metropolitan area, it's playing at Cinema Arts. If you find it playing someplace else, go check it out. It almost tied for a Real Rush movie of the pick of the week, y'all. So Hampstead, go find it, go seek it, go check it out. And last but most certainly not least, on this episode's Real Rush tickets, we're gonna rewind things back to last Saturday. Too Sweet Day, to the movie that we did end up seeing after we met Nash and Hall and Latimer. We saw Marianne and Leonard, Words of Love. Now this is a documentary that more focuses on the romance between late famed folk singer-songwriter Leonard Cohen and his muse, Norwegian Marianne Island from the Islands. Anywho, they ended up taking residence off this small island named Idra or Idra. It looks like it should be pronounced Hydra, like in the Marvel movies, but it's not. I know it threw me off on movie 2. But they took a residence there. She was his muse. And as best to put it, it was like the romance between the two, as great as it was, as much as they helped form each other, and especially as much as Marianne was pinnacle in Leonard's songwriting, it was the best way to describe it. It's like the love that could either never really take off. If it was an airplane, it could never fully take off, or it could just never land. That's the best way to put it. Without giving too terribly much away. It's an inspirational documentary. It is a good documentary. It's a heavy documentary because it's a tragic romance between the two that is being told via archival footage and from new footage from people who knew Marianne and Leonard. And wow. And just because of the fact that I saw it after coming off of a huge ass adrenaline rush after last Saturday's CSA show, it just kind of weighed me down to the point where my eyelids did feel a little heavy, but I retained pretty much what still happened in the joint. So yeah, it is a really good documentary. Like I said, it's heavy. It's a tragic, romantic documentary. So who's this movie for? This movie is not for everybody, y'all. This is not just some, I'm gonna pop into the movie. I'm gonna pop into the movies at 3 o'clock on a Saturday and go check out this documentary on this songwriter, on the love between the songwriter who I may or may not know about and this woman who I've definitely never heard of. Now, Leonard Cohen I had heard of before. The Marianne I had never heard of before. Leonard Cohen was instrumental to the Natural Born Killer soundtrack. That's one of my favorite all-time movies. He did the fucking soundtrack to McCabe and Mrs. Miller and stuff. And he did the season 2 theme song, True Detective. Yes, sir, ma'am. So, I can do that. I got the will to do that shit. That's like, well, I don't understand how some people can drink before 10. Well, go to any college campus on whatever their like year or annual spirit day is, and you will find people more fucked up before 8:30 than you've ever seen in your life. So the same way that you could say, I don't know how people could do that before 10 o'clock in the morning, same way as saying, I don't know how this man can go and watch a documentary in the middle of a Saturday in the theater. It wasn't easy, but it was a good documentary. So Marianne and Leonard, Words of Love, also Unlimited. I'm not sure if the Angelica still has this or not. I know Cinema Arts has this. So it's working its way through the circuit. Where you can find it if you're interested. Once again, very heavy documentary. If you're interested, if you are a fan, who is this movie for? If you are a Leonard Cohen fan, or if you're a music fan, just to kind of see where people do get their rooted inspirations from that come out in their music and their lyrics, then this movie is for you. Marianne and Leonard, Words of Love. If that is your interest, play it where it is. Find it where it is playing. Go see it. And that, my friends, is a wrap for episode 42 of The Real Rush right here on YouTube. Before we get to what we're going to have coming to you on episode 43 next week, that District Wasteland episode that I was mentioning in the last couple episodes that your boy did a guest spot on a couple weeks ago. That is now up. That is called episode 102, Dub Time with J Dubs. That is Dub Time with J Dubs. I have the link on the screen right there. I don't know why, after using this nickname for 20 or so years, people keep fucking up the pronunciation or even the spelling of it. J-Dub. J-Dub. I even spell that shit out at the beginning of every episode. J-Dub. I don't know where people keep getting the extra S from. I've seen people spell the shit with 2 B's. I've seen people spell it with 2 S's. I've seen people spell it with 2 B's and 2 S's. Or just straight up 2 B's. Yeah, that's the same thing with like the whole tights thing. Like, it's like on anybody else, it's like those are tights. But if somebody sees them with me, they're automatically leggings. I don't see where the disconnect here is. But that's like the whole tomato thing. Potato, tomato, what the fuck ever. And the whole thing is all scrambled up. So yeah, check out District Wasteland, episode 102, with your boy, talking movie talk. Or trying to, at least, on that episode with my peoples, Hugh and J Lo. And next bandit show, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, that will be coming up on the 3rd Friday of August. That's going to be Friday, August 16th at 7:30. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, this past weekend's show was unexpectedly sold the fuck out. I don't know if that came from people just coming to the door or online sales to begin with. So you might want to go ahead and get your tickets early just to be on the safe side. Don't say I didn't warn you. $12 online, $15 at the door. I would recommend online, especially since if you use promo code John, you get yourself a discount. Where can you find this shit at? Tickets are available right now at stagecoachtc.com/stagecoach-bandits. That is, once again, stagecoach.thomascaldwell.com/stagecoach-bandits. And coming up for y'all next week on episode 43. Right now, there's only one movie on the ticket unless something else springs up. Like a Hampstead's RKO out of fucking nowhere. And that one movie on episode 43's ticket is, you know what? I'm just going to go out here right now and say it. This is my most anticipated movie of 2K19 coming up next week. Why? Because it's coming from my boy, my home slice, my favorite all-time movie director of all time, Mr. Quentin Tarantino. I'm talking about his long-awaited film, the 9th film from Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I will be there opening day for that this coming Thursday. It's not going to be an opening night show. It's going to be opening day. because they got 4 o'clock showings fucking popping off. So, boom. So next weekend's episode, that'll be pretty interesting to see how that one goes. But anywho, in the meantime, as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, any shit like that, for your homeboy J-Dub here for The Real Rush, don't be afraid to type those, use your little fingers, type those onto this page that you are viewing this episode of The Real Rush on right here, right now. If you subscribe to The Real Rush channel here on YouTube, thank you so much for doing so. And if you haven't done so yet, what the hell are you waiting for? You want to be the first to know when I drop a new episode of The Real Rush, since that can happen anytime between, as you can see, Friday night and Monday. So boom, you want to be the first to know. Plus, I don't always drop my previews on Instagram at the same time. So you want to be the first up, be in the know, yo. And yo, tell your peoples about The Real Rush. Don't just watch me and be like, all right, well, yeah, that was cool. Yeah, you know a guy personally. If I'm telling you one-on-one about my shit, you know a man one-on-one who actually does movie reviews. Make that click. So that being said, tell your peoples about The Real Rush. And spread the word of The Real Rush, like everybody should be spreading love these days, ladies and gents. And please, as always as well, you can follow your boy on Instagram for my live movie check-ins as they occur. And that is at JDubChampion, hashtag The Real Rush. And for The Real Rush, ladies and gents, I am your boy J-Dub. Thank you once again for tuning in to this week's episode. If I was droning on a little bit here, I'm just feeling at home, baby. I just let it flow. Just let it flow for this episode. Yeah. Because it's been a long week. It's been a long-ass weekend. And I'm surprised that I'm not puffing on a damn black and mild while I do this episode right now. But that's definitely coming up when I'm going to be editing this episode here shortly. But you, and you, everybody watching this, when you're at the movies, chill the fuck out, okay? Don't be doing all the talking. Don't be doing all the looking at the cell phones. And the smartwatches, you can turn those off even for a couple hours. Because any conversation, and even the time, I guarantee all that shit is going to be waiting for you after the movie's over. Please enjoy yourselves at the movies, y'all. Have fun, y'all. Love J-Dub. And we'll see you next weekend. Peace out. Just a seat and shit. Or else things break. And I cannot be held responsible. Responsible. Et quand tout responsible, quand tu vas tout